gentlemen. I am Dalia Gamil, and this is Healthy and Happy Living with Teriak. Hopefully you can hear my smile. Today our episode is about the kindest voice, which is learning self-compassion. So, what is self-compassion? Self-compassion is the practice of being kind, understanding, and supportive towards yourself, especially during times of failure, suffering, or personal difficulty. Instead of being overly critical or judgmental, self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same warmth and care you would offer to a good friend. Turning inward gently allows us to discover the power of self-kindness. Self-compassion basically has three components. The first is self-kindness versus self-judgment, or being gentle and understanding with yourself rather than harshly critical. Second, common humanity versus isolation, or recognizing that suffering and personal shortcomings are part of shared human experience rather than feeling isolated by your struggles. Third is mindfulness versus over-identification, or holding painful thoughts and emotions in balanced awareness rather than exaggerating or suppressing them. Basically, practicing self-compassion has been shown to improve emotional resilience, reduce anxiety and depression, and promote overall well-being. The most important part is why it's hard to be kind to ourselves. Being kind to ourselves is often surprisingly difficult, and this can stem from several psychological and societal factors. The first of which is self-criticism as a motivator. Many people believe that being hard on themselves will push them to do better. This belief is rooted in perfectionism and can make self-compassion feel like laziness or weakness. The second is cultural norms. Some cultures place a high value on humility or self-sacrifice, which can discourage self-kindness and instead promote guilt for putting personal needs first. The third is negativity bias. Human brains are wired to focus more on negative experiences or thoughts. This can make past mistakes or perceived flaws feel more significant than accomplishments, reinforcing self-judgment. The fourth is early conditioning. People who grew up in critical or emotionally distant environments often internalize those voices and struggle to treat themselves with compassion. The fifth and the last is fear of complacency. There is a common fear that if we're too kind to ourselves, we'll lose our edge or stop striving. This makes self-compassion feel risky or counterproductive. If we're talking about the science behind self-compassion is a concept rooted in psychology and neuroscience, describing how we treat ourselves during times of failure, stress, or suffering with the same kindness and understanding that we might offer to a friend. It is increasingly studied for its role in mental well-being, emotional regulation, and resilience. Here is the science behind it, broken into key areas. The first key area is brain activity and self-compassion. Neuroscience shows that self-compassion activates areas of the brain associated with caregiving and affiliation. Second, the psychological benefits. Studies link self-compassion to lower levels of anxiety, depression, and stress, greater emotional resilience and life satisfaction, improved motivation, not by self-judgment, but by a desire to thrive. Third, self-compassion versus self-esteem. Unlike self-esteem, which can depend on external validation or comparison, self-compassion offers a more stable and non-contingent source of self-worth. It encourages growth through care rather than judgment. Fourth, training self-compassion. Research shows that self-compassion can be cultivated through mindfulness meditation, loving kindness practices, and cognitive behavioral techniques like reframing self-critical thoughts. There are true self-compassion myths that I'd like to share with you along with the truth that debunk them. Myth number 1, self-compassion is the same as self-pity. The truth is, self-pity involves feeling sorry for yourself and getting stuck in your suffering. In contrast, self-compassion acknowledges pain without exaggerating it and includes a balanced perspective. It connects you to the shared human experience of struggle rather than isolating you. Myth number 2, self-compassion is selfish. The truth is, many people think focusing on their own needs is selfish. However, self-compassion actually increases your capacity to care for others. When you're kind to yourself, you're less likely to burn out and more able to offer support to those around you. Myth number 3, self-compassion makes you weak. The truth is, self-compassion is not weakness, it is strength. Research shows that people who are self-compassionate are more resilient, better able to cope with stress, and bounce back from failure more effectively. Myth number 4, self-compassion undermines motivation. The truth is, some believe that being kind to yourself will make you lazy or let you off the hook. But the opposite is true. Self-compassion supports growth-oriented motivation. Instead of beating yourself up for failures, you acknowledge them and strive to improve in a healthier way. These are some practical exercises we can try to cultivate gentler or more supportive relationship with yourself. You can take a self-compassion break. This is a 3-minute practice which you can use during stressful moments or negative self-talk. This is a quick and effective way to respond to difficult emotions. Be mindful to acknowledge the struggle and the moment of suffering. Recognize it as part of being human and that suffering is part of life and common humanity. Offer self-kindness by assuring yourself that you can be kind and can give yourself the compassion you need. Alternatively, you can write a letter to yourself. This practice builds emotional resilience through written self-compassion. Think of a situation where you're being self-critical and write a letter to yourself from the perspective of a loving friend. Use supportive, understanding, kind words and avoid judgment. Also, you can work on compassionate affirmations. Say something kind to yourself out loud, like you're doing the best you can. It's okay to make mistakes. You deserve love and care. Or reframe the inner critic. Transform harsh inner dialogue into compassionate voice. By noticing the negative thoughts, pause and reframe it. You can tell yourself, I am struggling right now, but I will achieve my objective. It is just a matter of time. And always remember, being kind to yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. That's why you are not broken. Wherever you are on a journey, you're doing the best you can, and that's more than enough. Until we meet with our next star guest, take a deep breath, speak to yourself gently, and know that you are deeply worthy of love, especially your own, and be self-compassionate. That brings us to the end of our episode today. As always, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with everyone to treat themselves with self-compassion. Until our next episode, stay happy and healthy, and take joy wherever you go.